Hello, guys. Welcome back. We are going to pick up where we left off with this week's lessons. We finished 1.14 previously. So, again, you get here by going to, when you log into the OLS, going to classes. From the class home, go to content, and it will bring up this page. And on the left, you have this table of contents. If this isn't opened up for Unit 1, you just click on it to open all of these up for you. Scroll down to where it says 115 Writing Workshop 3. That's what we're going to be working on today. And you may have to scroll back up to the top to see it. Looks like we have 5 learning modules, excluding the introduction. And you always want to start with the introduction. Again, this is 1.15 Writing Workshop number 3. Writing workshop introduction, writing workshop number 3. It's almost time to put pen to paper. First, you will review 2 important topics, writing from the first person point of view and paragraphing correctly. After mastering these topics, you will draft your essay using the timeline and notes you made earlier. And as you can see, we have 2 slides, so we need to go to slide 2. And there's where our student guide is. Always download that student guide. It tells you the lesson objectives. It gives you keywords, clarity, when writing is clear and easy to understand. Coherence, the sensible presentation of smoothly connected ideas in a paragraph or essay. Transition, a word, phrase, or clause that connects ideas. And unity, a characteristic of writing achieved when all sentences in a paragraph or all paragraphs in an essay support the main idea. Sometimes you'll have graphic organizers to download or links to the stories. We don't have any of that here in this particular lesson, so we're just going to click back on that main tab and go back up to the top and click forward to go to Module 1. First person versus third person. Earlier, you learned that a personal narrative is written in first person. In a personal narrative, the writer and the main character are the same. So the words I, me, my, and mine are used to tell the story. In a third person narrative, the main character does not tell the story. Slide 2. Are you sure you understand what the first person point of view is? Consider the given paragraph, which is written in the first person. Paragraph 1. How hard could it be to look after one cat? I felt as if the Hansons were overpaying me to take care of their pet while they were gone for the weekend. After all, I had to go next door only twice a day for 2 days for putting a little food and water in Torpedo's dishes. I was going to get an easy $20, and Mom had said that if I proved how responsible I could be, she might let me get a cat myself. So, point out where we see the first person. In paragraph 1 is written in the first person. The writer and the main character are the same. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 is not written in first person. The writer and the main character are not the same. There is no use of the pronoun I or we. Okay, notice that. Slide 3. Practice. Reread the following paragraph. How hard could it be to look after one cat? I felt as if the Hansons were overpaying me to take care of their pet while they were gone for the weekend. After all, I had to go next door only twice a day for 2 days. For putting a little food and water in Torpedo's dishes, I was going to get an easy $20. And Mom said that if I proved how responsible I could be, she might let me get a cat myself. How do you know for sure the paragraph is written in first person point of view? Think and see if you know. Let's see if you're right. The writer uses words like I, me, and myself when narrating. See how hard I felt, me, paying me, I had, I was going, if I proved responsible, I could be a cat myself. So those are all the examples. All right, moving forward. Module 2. Drafting. Remember that when you write a draft, you should write quickly to put down your ideas before you forget them. It's better not to stop to correct spelling or punctuation. However, it's good to get into the habit of paragraphing as you write your draft. A paragraph, as you know, has one main idea or subject. In order for a paragraph to have unity, all sentences in it should be related to the main idea. Therefore, each time you change subjects or main ideas, you should start a new paragraph. Slide 2. Read the excerpt and think about why the writer started each new paragraph. Ask yourself what the main idea of each paragraph is. Select the buttons to learn about each paragraph's main idea and supporting details. Paragraph 1. How hard could it be to look after one cat? I felt as if the Hansons were overpaying me to take care of their pet while they were gone for the weekend. After all, I had to go next door only twice a day for 2 days for putting a little food and water in Torpedo's dishes. I was going to get an easy $20, and Mom said that if I proved how responsible I could be, she might let me get a cat myself. Paragraph 2. On Saturday morning, I let myself into the Hansons' backyard. The food was just where they said it would be. The dry food was in a tightly closed plastic bin, and cans of wet food were stacked on the steps. I pried open the bin and began ladling dry food into Torpedo's empty dish. Suddenly, I heard an unearthly yowl above me. A furry black comet launched itself from the garage roof, speeding straight toward me. I dropped the cat dish and ladled through my arms over my head. All right, so we're looking here. What is the main idea of paragraph 1? Think about it. What is the main idea of paragraph 2? What do you think? Paragraph 3. I didn't see a paragraph 3. This is where I'm getting confused here. I'm not seeing a paragraph 3. In paragraph 1, the main idea is talking about how hard could it be to look after a cat. And all those sentences talk about for that cat. The main idea of the first paragraph is that the writer is being paid to feed his neighbor's cat. The details tell what he must do to feed the cat, how much he will be paid, and the possible result of a job well done. Paragraph 2. On Saturday morning, oh, I see. That's paragraph 2. It went along with the rest of it, so I wasn't sure because they weren't indenting. I was confused about where it was at. On Saturday morning, I let myself into the Hansons' backyard. The food was just where they said it would be. The dry food was in a tightly closed plastic bin, and cans of wet food were stacked on the steps. I pried open the bin and began ladling dry food into Torpedo's empty dish. So the writer began the new paragraph because there was both a time change and a change of subject. The paragraph tells what the writer saw and did on Saturday morning when he entered the neighbor's yard and prepared to feed the cat. Paragraph 3. Suddenly, I heard an unearthly yowl above me. A furry black comet launched itself from the garage roof, speeding straight toward me. I dropped the cat dish and ladle and threw my arms over my head. The writer began a new paragraph when he stopped describing his preparations to feed the cat. In the new paragraph, he switches to describing the details of the cat's attack. Slide 3. A tip about paragraphing. Paragraphing helps you keep your ideas organized when you write your drafts. As you improve your writing skills, you will automatically recognize subject changes and indent for a new paragraph. This automatic action will make it easier to recognize sentences that should not be grouped with other sentences. It will make you pause to ask yourself, just where does this idea belong if it doesn't belong here? If you're drafting on a computer, you can drag sentences to where they should be. If you're handwriting your draft, circle out of order sentences and draw an arrow to the place where you want to put them. Putting your material in order as you draft makes revising easier. That's 3 of 3, so we're ready to move to Module 3. Clarity, unity, and coherence. Clarity, when writing is clear and easy to understand. Unity, a characteristic of writing achieved when all sentences in a paragraph or all paragraphs in an essay support the main idea. And coherence. The coherence is the sensible presentation of smoothly connected ideas in a paragraph or essay. All three are important components for composing strong paragraphs. Without these three items, your paragraphs will be jumbled and confusing. Your reader may lose interest in reading about your ideas. Imagine how Arnold uses the ideas of clarity, unity, and coherence to compose a great paragraph. The skiing was awesome. This is the topic sentence for Arnold's paragraph. Each sentence in the paragraph should help explain why the skiing was awesome. Does Arnold achieve this? Yes. This is an example of unity. The snow was deep and powdery. Is the content in the paragraph organized logically? It begins with a description of the snow conditions and ends with a broad description of the setting. This is a coherent organization of ideas. Like a huge pillow of whipped cream, our skis sliced through it in neat straight lines. It was cold, but not too cold, and we never had to go into the warming huts at all. It snowed off and on, but not enough to make it hard to see. In fact, it snowed just enough to add to the pillow of snow that we started with. The sun came out of a time or two, and when it did, we could see it for miles. It was just mountainous trees, ski runs, and blue sky as far as we could gaze. Is this sentence clear and easy to understand? If so, this is a good example of clarity. Is the sentence clear and easy to... Okay, I just repeated themselves there. Typo. Slide 2. Transitions. Writers use transitions to connect ideas, sentences, and paragraphs. Transitions make writing smooth and easy to follow. There are an almost endless number of transitional words and phrases, and some are specific to organization of your essay. If your essay uses chronological order, that means remember in order from beginning, middle, end, you may find these transitions to be helpful. Early on, later, in the end, initially, at first. If your essay uses spatial order, you may find these transitions to be helpful. Okay, again, remember that generally personal narratives are in chronological order. I'll go over this one, but I highly suggest you just keep it in chronological order for now. If it uses spatial order, you may find these transitions to be helpful. Above that, below this, among others, inside, to the side. If your essay uses order of importance, you may find these transitions to be helpful. Most of all, equally important, least of all. If your essay uses logical order, you may find these transitions helpful. Most obvious because of the fact, however, although, as a result. Slide 3. Trying out transitions. Now sort some transitions based on the type of essay organization used. We've got spatial order, chronological order, order of importance, and logical organization. Above, well, since that's spatial, it's a space, I'm gonna think space. First of all, okay, that could be chronological or logical, but I think it's more chronological. Because of this fact, that could be order, that could be logical. I think that's logical. Most importantly, order of importance, yes. Let's check. Boop, 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 whoop, 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 whoop. All right, that's slide 3 of 3. And you can always hit replay and try to get on your own without Miss Jordan to see if you can do it on your own. I highly advise you do that. Next. Module 4, I believe, yes. Transitional words and phrases act like bridges between ideas. They also can help make the sequence of events clear. You have studied some transitional words used to clarify chronological order. How well do you remember these words? Slide 2. Read this passage from a personal narrative. Select the button to know the transitional words that demonstrate time order, chronological order. My bicycle landed with a crash at the bottom of the ravine. I tumbled down with it and was caught in the bushes halfway down the slope. At first, I thought that my worst injuries were only a few scrapes and bruises. When I tried to pull myself to my feet, however, pain flashed through my right ankle. I had sprained it badly, if not broken it. Now, what was I going to do? I tried to remember what I had said to my mom earlier. Had I told her I was taking the shortcut through the park? Would she know where to hunt for me? I wondered whether I should stay where I was, waiting for someone to rescue me. Finally, I decided that I had better rescue myself. Somehow, I would have to crawl back up the steep slope to the main road. All right, let's see. Can you find the transition words? Let's check and see if you were right. At first, when, now, earlier, and finally. Again, these are chronological ones. Take note of these. These are ones that you can use in your personal narrative. Notice the transitional words. I hate how that is covering. There we go. Notice how all the transitional words and phrases such as at first, when, now, earlier, and finally help make the order of events clear. Slide 3. All right, again, this is where copying and pasting into that review document would be awesome. I'm going to read this and I'll show you how to set that up. More than one. You may use more than one type of transition in a single essay. Read the sentence and think about how the underlined transitional word is used, then answer the question. When I tried to pull myself to my feet, comma, however, comma, pain flashed through my right ankle, period. The word, however, is a transitional word. Why or how is used, A, to help show chronological order, B, to help readers understand spatial order, C, to emphasize the order of importance, or D, to make logical order or ideas clear. Okay, so when you're ready to do this, remember you're going to go down to Windows, pull up your Word document. It opened up on my other screen because I had my other one from last time over there, but this is what pops up. You want a blank document, and I'm going to type ELA. And again, you may want to have your own folder for this for your ELA. 1.14 Writing Workshop 3 review. All right. And because this has this part here, I'm going to copy and paste all of that for this one as part of the question. Number 1. Hold on. Oopsie. Space. Control V. Oh no. Undo. I made a boo-boo. Right click. That's not where I want to copy it. No. Oh, I made a boo-boo. Okay. Let's go back. Let's just go ahead and copy this here. Paste. All right. And then I'm going to come up here and put number 1. That's fine. Okay. And then I'm going to hit enter down here. And because this is a little different. And also put this here. Copy. And go back to my Word document. And right click and paste. Okay. And then I'm going to put my answer here. So let's see. What do y'all think? How do they use the word however as a transition? To show chronological order, to help the reader understand spatial order, to emphasize the order of importance, or to make a logical order. Oh, I think it's this one. Let's see. Boop, boop. Yep. However, tells you that the second detail is in contrast to the first. Okay, so again, I would want to copy this and right click paste. And then I would also want to put this explanation here, if it'll let me. Yeah. Copy and also include that explanation. Paste. Oh, that did not work out. Let's undo that and try it a different way. Let's see what way we'll get it in there. There we go. Okay, so that, and now you're ready for the next one. I'm going to pull this off to the side, and that's just kind of how you create it. Oh, let me show you how to save this too while I'm at it here. I always like to go ahead and save it early on. So file, save as, this PC. All right, then we're going to put, again, ELA 1.14 Writing Workshop 3 Review, and save. All right, and then I'm going to move this off to my second screen, and that will be ready to go. And now we're going to move to slide 4. Sentence structures. While transitions help bridge ideas, varying sentence structures help create flow and maintain interest in your writings. Consider these sentences. 1, the dog barked, period. Notice how this sentence contains only a subject and a verb in a complete thought. This type of sentence structure is called a simple sentence. It has their basic components, but it's not super fancy. Number 2, the dog barked, comma, and the bird chirped, period. This and, apostrophe and, this sentence is actually two simple sentences joined together by a coordinating conjunction, one of the fanboys. This is called a compound sentence. Notice that you also need to include that comma before the fanboy, which in this case they used and. For, and, nor, but, or, yet. So, don't forget so. Yeah, because fanboys. So, all right, because his owner was gone all day, the dog barked for hours. Because in this sentence contains a dependent clause. Because his owner was gone all day, comma, and independent clause, the dog barked for hours. This type of sentence structure is called complex. So usually when you start getting the commas involved and like semicolons and colons and all that stuff, you're getting fancy. It just sounds more mature. This is simple. This is how we write when we're first in elementary school, just first learning how to write. But now that we're sixth graders and going into seventh soon, we want to mature our writing just as we are maturing. Read the paragraph, identifying sentence structure. Read the paragraph, then try to identify the different types of sentence structures within the paragraph. Excuse me. My dog is great. This sentence includes one subject and one verb. This is a simple sentence. Although she is a big dog, she is really gentle. Although she's a big dog is a dependent clause. It is followed by an independent clause. Therefore, it's a complex sentence. She likes to play fetch and she loves taking walks. The common and has connecting two independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction. This is called a compound sentence. I also have a cat. Ooh, what would that be? If you said simple, you were correct. Even though you wouldn't accept it, my cat and dog are best friends. Even though you wouldn't expect it, this is a dependent clause and part of a complex sentence. Sometimes at night, my cat and dog curl up in the living room together and fall asleep. What do you think about that one? You said complex, you're right. We have in here, this at night part is called an interjection. It's not really needed in this sentence because you could do the sentence totally fine without it. Sometimes my cat and dog curl up in the living room together and fall asleep, but it just gives more detail about when they do that. So at night, but it kind of interrupts the flow of the sentence. So it's considered a complex sentence. Again, when you start adding those commas in there, you're getting into compound or complex. Okay. Quick check. Number 1, what kind of sentence contains one subject and one verb? Think about your answer. Let's see if you're right. Simple. If you said simple, you are correct. What kind of sentence contains two simple sentences joined by a conjunction? Do you remember what that's called? Let's see if you're right. If you said compound, you've got it. And number 3, what kind of sentence includes at least one dependent clause and one independent clause? Think about your answer. Let's see if you're right. If you said complex, you are good to go. If you did not get those right, you might want to review this slide again and the one previous to it. If you got those all right, then you are ready to move forward to module 6 or module 5. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Ready, set, draft. Now it's time to begin drafting your personal narrative. It's important to write your first draft without interrupting your train of thought. In other words, do not stop to fix spelling errors or change words around during drafting. It's better left for the revising and editing. Get your ideas down on paper without judgment is the most important goal. As you write, bear in mind what you learned about using first-person point of view, dialogue, and language that shows. Then, with your timeline and other pre-writing information, begin your draft using the guidelines below. So here are our guidelines. Because you're telling your own story, write in first person using words like I, me, and my. Describe events in the order in which they happened. Use dialogue to draw your readers into the scene and give information about your actions and characters. Use specific nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs when they occur to you. Write with your conclusion in mind and include all details your readers will need to understand the narrative and its ending. Make sure that your narrative's point or meaning it holds for you. It's obvious at the end. Don't start talking about one thing and then start talking about something totally different and then come back to the previous thing. Not maintaining continuity. Organize paragraphs around main ideas. And when it changes ideas, change paragraphs. Don't forget to indent. Use precise language that shows rather than tells. Use varied sentence structure, so spice it up. Remember to keep your planning and organizing document and a copy of your rough draft because they will be turned in at the end of the assignment with your final draft. That's not necessarily true. You're going to turn your final draft into Go Formative. I'm expecting it's going to look like a final draft, meaning that there's not going to be a lot of spelling and grammar errors, especially the ones that have been discussed in this unit, and that it's going to be well organized. It's going to look like a finished. You're not going to have a lot of slang in there unless it's being used within dialogue. I expect to see some dialogue in there. In this and all assignments requiring typing, you should use keyboarding techniques and ergonomic strategies that will help you build speed and accuracy. If you need additional practice, do a keyboard search for keyboarding practice. There are lots of fun and free keyboarding games to help you improve your speed and accuracy. Typing Club is one I used when I was in brick and mortar. I highly recommend the Typing Club. It teaches you how to type using all 10 fingers. Not just the first 2 index fingers. Henpecking is what my typing teacher called that. Module 6. Actually, we are done. That's it. So that was all of lesson 1.14. Now they're saying that you're ready to do your rough draft if you have not already done so. Please get that done today. Okay. So that you'll be ready to revise and edit. I'm assuming the next lesson is going to be over that, so that you'll be ready to turn it in your final draft in 1.16. All right. Y'all have a great day. I hope you found this video helpful. If you need anything, please, if you have any questions, come to open office at 1 p.m. Monday through Thursday, or you can always email me at ljordan@tvahallsville.org. or call me at 254-307-0033. Now, if your learning coach has not opted you in to receive calls and texts from me, and you call or text me, please look in your email for my response, or I'll be reaching out to your learning coach. All right. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.